In this tutorial, I am going to discuss a very interesting problem, sort a stack using recursion. So in this problem, we have to write a code to sort a stack using recursion, and we have to sort in a descending order. So what it means is top of the stack has the greatest element. For example, given a stack of integers, when we sort it, you can see it is arranged like this, where the highest element comes at the top, then the next highest element, then the next highest element, and then the smallest one. So in this way all the elements are arranged, and for solving this problem we don't have to use any loop construct or additional data structure. We have to sort them by using recursion only. So this is the problem statement, and now let's think how we can solve this problem. We have discussed a problem statement. Now let's discuss how we can sort a stack using recursion. So for sorting a stack, what it means, we have to arrange these elements either in ascending order or in descending order. And in this example, we are arranging them in descending order. So for arranging all the elements in descending order, it means 120 will come first, then 9, then 2, and here the minus 1. So 120 will be at the top of the stack. So to arrange them in descending order, we have to pop all the elements from a stack, and we have to put in such a way so that they can be arranged in descending order. So now suppose if we have to arrange them in ascending order, then so we have to follow the same step, only a very small change is required to arrange them in ascending order, which I will explain shortly. So to solve this problem, we need two recursive function. So in first recursive function, we pop all the stack elements, and in second recursive function we arrange them in such a way so that first we put the smallest element, then the second smallest, then third smallest, and so on. And after that we get we get a result in which stack is sorted in descending order. Now let's visualize the approach. So here I am using two recursive function. So in first recursive function, we pop all the array elements and we keep its value in temp variable. So in each recursive call, each recursive call will be put in a call stack, and also whatever the value we store in a temp variable, it also maintain in a call stack. So let's visualize it. So now suppose this is a call stack where when we call a function recursively, all the function calls are put in this call stack. So you can think like that. So whenever this line of code is executing, when this function is called, it will be put in a call stack, and this statement will be executed when we get the answer of this function call. So now generally what we write a function. So let's suppose we write a function, and in function we write some statements, and now let's say here we call another function, and now we write a statement. So whenever the line of statements are executing, when they encounter one function, so they put them in a call stack, and first whatever the result we get from the first they wait to be first this function will be executed, then this line of code will be executed. Similarly, when we call the function recursively, so all the function calls are put in a call stack, and whenever we get the result of this function, whenever this function is executed successfully, then we reach at this line of statement. And in recursive function, base condition is very important. If we don't put the base condition, then it will call infinitely, and after the allocated after some time it will throw stack overflow exception. So whenever function is executed, it takes some memory, and when all the allocated memory get exhausted, it will throw stack overflow exception. So that's why the base condition is important. So here the base condition is when stack is empty, we simply return from the function call. So now let's visualize what this code, what this function is doing. So we pass stack, and in stack there are few values, and when we pass a stack as an argument with following integers, so it is not empty, so this code is skipped. And in temp we popped, we pop the value from a stack, so 2 will be popped out, and in temp we put 2. So you can imagine, so it will be registered here with temp value 2, and then we call this method with this stack. Now 2 will be popped out. So in next function call, still the stack is not empty, and we pop 120, and again we call this function recursively, and this time it is -1, and it will be popped out, and stack is still not empty, so this time 9 will be popped out, and it will again call recursively. So when 9 will be popped out, the stack is empty, all elements will be popped out. So this condition, this time this condition is true, and we return from this function call. So we get the answer of this function call. So it is popped out from the call stack, and we reach at this statement, and when we reach at this statement we pass this empty stack and this temp value, which is 9. So the element, the function call, so the last function call which we pushed, which pushed in a call stack, is the first to be popped out, is the first to be completed. So this is the beauty of recursion. So when this function is popped out from this call stack, we now let's execute this statement, and in this function we are putting the element in correct order, and how it is done you will learn shortly. So here the base condition is, if stack is empty or the temp, if the current value is greater than the element present at top, then simply push it, because we are sorting them in descending order. If we are sorting them in ascending order, then we need to change this condition, this comparison operator. I mean, here instead of smaller than, I mean temp is greater than stack dot peak. So in that case, when we are sorting them in ascending, so it will be stack dot peak is greater than temp. So this minor change is required to sort them in ascending order. So now let's focus on this condition. If a stack is empty or the value of temp is greater than the element present at the top of the stack, simply push them. So stack is empty, we push 9, and we return from this function call. Now this function is waiting to be executed. Now let's pop this from the call stack and let's execute them. So this time when we pass a stack, it has one value which is 9, and here we pass -1. So now, is the temp value is greater than the value present at the top of the stack? The value present at the top of the stack is 9. No, so it is not. So, and also stack is not empty, so this will not be executed, and we reach at this statement. Here we pop this value 9, and then we call this method. So when 9 is popped and this function is called, again we put this function with element 9 in a call stack, and when it reach, so in this function call, stack is empty. When 9 is popped out, a stack is empty, so we push -1, and then it will return. So now it will return, so we have to execute this function call. So let's popped out from the call stack and let's push them. So it will reach at this statement and push this element. So let's push them, and now 9 is pushed. So you can see 9 is arranged. So first we push smallest element, which is -1, then 9. So it is arranged properly. So now now this function, so now this function is popped out from the call stack, and we pass this stack and 120. So this time you can see this condition is true. 120 is greater than the element present at the top of the stack. So simply we push 120. And next, so this function is also popped out from the stack. Now the next function call, which is this one, is also popped from the stack, and we execute this statement. So this stack and 2 is passed in this function call. So 2 is smaller than 120. So definitely stack is not empty and the value of temp is not greater than 120. So this is skipped and we pop 120. So we pop 120, it means we push them. So because we are calling this function, so this function call is pushed in a call stack, and we pass 120 is popped out, we pass this stack and 2. So still this temp value is smaller than the element present at the top of the stack. So again we popped out 9 and we call this function recursively. So 9 is popped out, and this time 2 is greater than the element present at the top of the stack. So simply push them and return it. So 2 is pushed and we return from this function call. So now this will be popped out and this function will be executed, and we reach at this statement and we push 9. Similarly, in next call, this function will be popped out and we execute this statement. So 120 is pushed in a stack. Now you can see all the elements are arranged in descending order. So we have sorted a stack using recursion. So we have not used any additional data structure. We have not used any loop, construct, for, while, etc. We have solved this problem using recursion. Now let's talk about its time complexity. So its time complexity is O(n) square, and why it is? Because in first recursive call we popped out all the values of a stack, and for each values we put them in a correct order. So in worst case, for every element we popped out the element and put them in a correct position. So that's why it is O(n) square. And what about its space complexity? So space complexity is O(n), as we are using the so in recursion each function call is put in a call stack, so definitely it is taking some memory. So in worst case it is O(n). Now let's see the main method, and if you see the main method, so in main method I'm constructing this stack and I'm calling this method sort, in which I pass this stack as an argument. And if I run this code, so let me run this. So if I run this code, you can see the stack is 9 minus 1. So it is 9 minus 1, 120 and 2. And once we sort them, then it is arranged in minus 1, 2, 9 and 120. So that's it for this video tutorial, and for more such programming videos you can subscribe our YouTube channel. You can visit our website, which is https://webrewrite.com. Thanks for watching this video, and please don't forget to like this video. Thank you.